All right, got the new Blue Ribbon Breeze bar. So in addition to the new Blue Ribbon Breeze bar that was just released a few days ago, I also ordered the new kids bars and will go over them on a future review. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the new uploads. But for this video, I'm going to review Blue Ribbon Breeze, which is advertised as a light grit bar with a classic PBR lager scent. It says it has scents of piney greens, cool peppermint, and fresh ozone that'll have you smelling like you're ready to skip work and head straight to the lake. And as always, I'm going to open the package, give it a sniff test, and let you know my first impression out of the box. Then pause the video, test it out, and then I'll come back later and let you know how it performed in the shower. All right, let's get it open. All right, I am not going to pull out the kids bar until I do the review. So I'm only going to pull out the Blue Ribbon Breeze. I'm going to keep these in the package here until I do the review later on. All right, so here it is, the Blue Ribbon Breeze bar. Now, I didn't think that I was going to care for this one much because it looks like it's just a straight beer scent, but on the website, it says that it has a pine scent and a mint scent, and I like minty bars, so maybe I'll like this one better than I expected. So let's go ahead and give it the first sniff. Okay, my very first impression is that this one is unique. It's not recycled, so that right off the bat is a big plus. Yeah, definitely very piney. Okay, my first impression so far is that I like it. It reminds me a lot of pine tar, actually. I'm not getting a lot of mint so far. Okay, let's go ahead and get it open. Looks like coconut castaway. Okay, show you what it looks like. Okay, it looks nice. What is this? Something else. Pieces of another bar, a black bar. Little fragments of a black bar were in here. Look at that. Let's see if we can get that out. I'm a little perplexed why a cream colored bar like this would have fragments of a black bar inside the box. Okay, here's a piece of it. You can see there's right against my shirt. You can, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm perplexed. I have no idea why there would be fragments of a black bar inside the box of a cream colored bar, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Definitely very piney. Okay, and the other thing I've noticed, I like the texture. This one feels really good. Of course, the real test is in the shower, but this feels like this is actually going to be high quality. Of course, I could be wrong. Find out in the shower. This is a very unique scent so far. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it. It's decent. I think this could go either way. I think when I use it in the shower, I could really like it or I could hate it. It just depends what direction it's going to take, because these bars, they can either get really good in the shower or really putrid in the shower. Yeah, it's very piney. I was not expecting for a beer bar to smell like a pine forest. Yeah, this almost smells like Lysol. Okay, so color me surprised thus far, but the real test comes in the shower. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and be right back. All right, I'm back and I used the Blue Ribbon Breeze bar in the shower this morning, and to my surprise, the scent didn't really alter all that much. There's a note of mint that is now more noticeable than before I lathered it up, but I was expecting a really strong note of beer hops to open up in the shower, but it really didn't. I can now detect a very subtle note of beer, but considering that this is supposed to be a beer bar, I thought the beer scent would be much stronger. Now, with that in mind, that's not to say that the bar is bad, because it's actually pretty good. It's just different than what I was expecting, and I think it will be for most others as well. It just has a really piney scent, a lot like snowy pine tar, but a warmer snowy pine tar. I think the snowy pine tar has a good scent, but it's just too strong for a bar of soap, in my opinion. But the Blue Ribbon Breeze scent is much more subdued. If you're a fan of pine, if you like snowy pine tar, then I really think you'll like this one as well. As far as performance in the shower, I think this one is high quality and that a lot of people will like it. And again, Squatch didn't accurately grade their grit levels, because this is listed as a light grit bar, but I didn't feel any grit at all. And that's not necessarily a negative. I just don't understand why Squatch's grit levels are nearly always wrong on the packaging. This is just a very smooth bar. It feels like a 0 grit bar to me. So overall, I would give this bar a thumbs up. And as far as my rankings, it would probably go somewhere near the bottom of my like tier. If you haven't seen my rankings video, you should definitely check that out, as well as some of the other recent reviews that I've done. So that's about it for this review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and God bless.